Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. Former President Rodrigo Duterte is set to make a highly anticipated court appearance at The Hague later today, a moment that could mark a turning point in his legal battle. President Marcos Jr. announces a game-changing economic move, approved investments worth over 4 trillion pesos, which are expected to create 300,000 jobs across the nation. In the U.S., a federal judge orders the reinstatement of thousands of workers fired under the Trump administration, paving the way for a major shift in U.S. labor policy. And in a significant development, Russian President Vladimir Putin gives conditional support for peace deal with Ukraine, backed by Washington, raising hopes for a potential breakthrough in the conflict. First, let's take a look at how financial markets performed overnight. Over on Wall Street, they closed sharply lower on Thursday as lower than expected inflation numbers were overshadowed by growing fears that the escalating tariff war between the United States and its largest trading partner, China, could stoke inflation and push the economy toward a recession. A Reuters poll revealed that 57% of respondents believe President Trump's economic policies are too erratic, while 53% fear that the tariffs will cause more damage than good. The tensions in global trade are causing uncertainty in markets, highlighting risks for the world economy and impacting both consumers and businesses. The outlook remains unclear as these trade disputes continue to evolve.
It's hard to suggest that we're in a bear market or could be entering a bear market when the economic conditions aren't deteriorating in a way that would suggest that we are moving in that direction.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average was lower by 1.3%, the S&P 500 down by almost as much, down by 1.4%, and the Nasdaq sharply lower, down by 2%. Meantime, European markets are mixed. UK's FTSE flat with an upward bias, Germany's DAX lower by 0.5%, and France's CAC 40 lower by 0.6%. Former President Rodrigo Duterte faces a crucial legal showdown today as he appears in court for the first time, where he'll be formally informed of the charges against him, a moment that could have far-reaching implications beyond politics. The 79-year-old former president is accused of crimes against humanity linked to his controversial war on drugs, a policy that defined his administration and shaped the Philippines' global image. The case has already drawn international attention and could impact the country's diplomatic standing. The Philippine Embassy in the Netherlands confirmed via Facebook that Duterte has engaged his legal team, including former Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea. This comes after Duterte formally requested consular assistance. Beyond the political and legal repercussions, this case could also resonate in business circles. With proceedings now at the International Criminal Court in The Hague, questions may arise about the Philippines' global reputation, its commitment to human rights, and how this could impact foreign investment and diplomatic ties. The Supreme Court gives respondents a non-extendable 24-hour deadline to explain why a writ of habeas corpus should not be issued for the arrested former president Rodrigo Duterte. This comes after petitions filed by the Duterte siblings challenging his detention. Named as respondents are Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla, and PNP Chief Major General Francisco Marbil. The High Court also orders the consolidation of separate petitions filed by Davao City Representative Paulo Duterte, Davao City Mayor Sebastian Duterte, and Veronica Duterte, streamlining the legal review of the case. This high-profile legal challenge adds uncertainty to the political landscape, with potential ripple effects on business confidence, foreign investments, and the country's rule of law. The policewoman allegedly attacked by former President Rodrigo Duterte's partner, Hanilet Avesenia, has decided not to pursue a complaint against her. PNP spokesperson, Police Brigadier General Jean Fajardo, says that the Special Action Force member has chosen to let the matter go, believing that injuries are part of the risks associated with her line of work. The incident occurred as police were escorting Duterte to his flight to The Hague, where he was to be served with an arrest warrant in connection with crimes against humanity allegations.
Decision po ng pulis na wag na po magsampa ng kaso at ang reason niya ay kasama yun sa hazard po ng kanyang trabaho kaya okay lang at magpapagaling lang daw siya at back to work na daw po siya.
We're now getting more details about what led to that incident involving former President Duterte's partner, Hanilet Avicenna. Authorities revealed that Avicenna refused to board the plane to The Hague with Duterte during his arrest. Speaking on BNC's On Point, DILG Secretary John Vic Remulla describes the exact moment Avicenna clashed with the police.
I think that was the time that they were informed that he was going to be brought to the plane already. And the weird thing is that she was offered to ride the plane with him.
You're talking about the partner, Hanilet?
Yes,
Oh,
she was
okay.
offered and she refused. And when he was being asked to go to the plane, she suddenly threw a fit.
In other news, Senator Roland Bato Dela Rosa denies that he is in hiding following the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. George Cahiles spoke with the senator. He filed this report.
Senator Ronald De La Rosa arrived at the rally of former President Rodrigo Duterte supporters in Davao City on Thursday. He went up on stage. He addressed the crowd and even took selfies with his supporters. This was the center's first public appearance after Duterte was arrested and brought to The Hague to face the International Criminal Court. De La Rosa was known as the face of the bloody war on drugs when he was a chief of the National Police. That's why he is one of those being investigated by the ICC for crimes against humanity due to the thousands of drug suspects killed under the Duterte administration.
Ako po hindi nagtatago. Andito ako. Just so happened that during yung pag-aresto kay President Duterte, pinatay ko yung aking cellphone dahil ang daming tawag.
De La Rosa clarified that if he were to face an arrest warrant himself, he would take all legal steps to prevent the government from cooperating with the ICC and Interpol. Aside from requesting the Supreme Court to issue a temporary restraining order, he also said he would ask the Senate to grant him protection.
Nakausap niyo ng Senate President, sir, about it?
Yes.
Anong sabi niya, sir? Tutulungan ka daw niya?
Yes.
If all legal measures fail, he said there would be nothing he could do. And if that happens, he hopes to be with his boss at the detention facility in The Hague.
Sana, mas maganda ko rin, pero mabantayan ko siya, malangaan ko siya. Pero I don't think, kahit magkatabi lang ng kwarto. Para sisilipin ko lang, sir, anong kailangan mo? Baka may tulong niya sa'yo. Ganun pa. Pero may makausap lang din siya.
The senator said he feels betrayed by President Bongbong Marcos because he had allegedly promised them before that the government would not cooperate with the ICC, the complete opposite of what the world witnessed on Tuesday. From Davao City, George Cahiles, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. leads the inauguration of a new grain terminal in Batangas, a move designed to consolidate the corn supply and lower poultry and livestock prices in southern Tagalog. The facility is expected to produce nearly 500,000 sacks of feed for hogs and chickens. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Tu Laurel Jr. says that the project is funded through a 100 million peso loan from the World Bank, with an additional 178.3 million pesos from the Department of Agriculture. This new terminal could strengthen the country's agricultural infrastructure and help stabilize the supply of essential livestock feed. The impact could be felt across local markets, lowering costs for farmers and consumers alike. The 4.6 trillion pesos worth of strategic investments approved in the country are expected to generate close to 300,000 jobs and help lower the cost of basic goods and services. At the Gawad Bayanihan sa Pamumuhunan milestone event in Malacanang, President Bongbong Marcos Jr. announced that almost 200 strategic investments were certified after the issuance of Executive Order number 18 in 2023. This executive order created a special lane for investments, streamlining processes and cutting through red tape. The approved projects span sectors such as food security, digital infrastructure, manufacturing, and renewable energy. 6 of these programs have already begun operating. These investments represent a significant step toward a more resilient and sustainable economy, positioning the Philippines to compete globally, strengthen domestic industries, and improve the lives of Filipinos nationwide. Now, consumers need to tighten their belts as Manila Water will impose higher rates next month. Sujin Kim has more.
Manila Water will implement a slight increase in water rates starting April due to its quarterly adjustment based on foreign exchange movements. The FCDA adjustment is due to the weakening of the peso against the US dollar in the previous quarter.
It is a corrective mechanism formulated by the MWSSRO to avoid under-recovery or over-recovery caused by forex movements. It depends now whether the peso appreciates or depreciates against the US dollar and Japanese yen and euro. And if there's any movement, it will have an impact.
Meanwhile, Maynilad has deferred its planned rate increase to the next quarter.
Please take note that the two concessionaires will not earn any income for the FCDA. They will not. This adjustment based on the foreign currency exchange fluctuations is a purely pass-on amount.
There will be no impact on lifeline consumers and low-income households as they are covered by Manila Water's subsidy. For regular consumers, the increase will range from 24 to 90 centavos depending on water usage.
We want to encourage water conservation, and we want to prevent excessive water consumption. That is why the monthly water bill is graduated in such a manner to encourage water conservation.
MWSS clarified that the upward adjustment is not related to the summer season. However, with higher water consumption during hot months, consumers may see higher bills.
There is normally a slight increase in the consumption of the consumers during the summer season. So that can be that will lead a factor, because the more you consume, the more expensive your water bill. Sometimes if you consume just less than 20 cubic meters before the summer season, and because of the heat, you consume more.
MWSS is urging the public to be mindful of water usage. Sujin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line.
Your newest source of news and information on cable and free TV, online,
On Trade Talk, joining us this morning.
on mobile.
Simulan na natin ang agenda.
This is BNC. We are everywhere.
Let's take a look at how Asian bourses are faring this Friday morning. Despite Wall Street's sharp sell-off overnight, the Nikkei 225 is in the green, as with the Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index and the Shanghai Composite. The Nikkei 225 is higher by 0.2%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng higher by 1%, and the Shanghai Composite higher by 0.8%. On the other hand, Singapore Straits Times Index is in the red, down by 0.1%. Let's take a look at how our market is doing. Recall the PSE Index rebounded yesterday on bargain hunting. The benchmark main gauge climbed 0.8% to 62.42, snapping out of a week-long decline. More than 1 billion shares were traded with foreign inflows totaling 436 million pesos. Analysts say that the buying activity comes on the back of signs of cooling inflation in the United States, which could slow interest rate hikes and spur capital flows into emerging markets like ours. Now, before the rebound, the index had dropped below 6,200 amid global trade war concerns. Now, let's take a look at how the main gauge is doing this Friday morning. At 10:20 this morning, the PSE index is in the green as well, higher by 0.6%, bucking the downtrend that we saw in Wall Street overnight. We're currently at 62.76. The broader all shares index is in the green as well, higher by 0.3%. And all these sub-indices are also trading in positive territory, with the mining and oil counter up the most, up sharply, up by 1.4% in early trade. Now, at the foreign exchange market, the peso opened slightly stronger at 57.35 against the greenback from its previous close of 57.36. Bilyonaryos gather at the Malacanang Palace to support First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos' 203 million peso Pasig Esplanade project. The funds were raised through donations from the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry Incorporated, led by Cecilio Pedro, at an event hosted by the Chinese Embassy. Among the notable attendees were Bilyonaryo's Tessie C. Coson, Dennis Anthony Uy and his wife Grace, Andrew Tan, Joseph Gotianun, Edgar Saavedra, and Frank Lau, among others. The Pasig River Esplanade is part of the Pasig Bigyang Buhay multi-initiative launched last year, which aims to restore the river's vibrancy through the creation of public spaces. This project not only improves the river's environmental quality, but also promotes sustainable urban development. It is expected to drive tourism and economic activity in those areas, providing a lift to local businesses and creating new opportunities for the Philippines. Elsewhere, a California federal judge orders U.S. agencies to reinstate thousands of workers fired under the Trump administration. U.S. District Judge William Alsup rules that the Office of Personnel Management overstepped its authority by directing agencies to dismiss workers without the legal power to do so. The ruling affects probationary employees at the U.S. Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, and Department of Agriculture, among others. This decision deals a significant blow to the Trump administration's efforts to shrink the federal bureaucracy. The ruling could have far-reaching implications, not just for U.S. government operations, but also for global workplace policies and administrative reforms. It reinforces the importance of legal limits on executive power, impacting government workforce management around the world. The Trump administration has yet to issue a statement on that ruling. Still on Trump, U.S. President Donald Trump threatens to impose a retaliatory 200% tariff on imports of alcoholic drinks from the European Union unless the EU removes its 50% tariff on American whiskey. This would impact wines, champagnes, and other alcoholic products coming from France and other EU member states. The European Commission announced on Wednesday that it will introduce retaliatory tariffs on $28 billion worth of American goods starting next month as a countermeasure to the 25% U.S. tariffs on European steel and aluminum. The escalating tariffs between the U.S. and Europe could have far-reaching implications for global trade, influencing supply chains, consumer prices, and international business relations. This could further heighten uncertainty in the global market, affecting companies and consumers alike. On another front, Russian President Vladimir Putin expresses conditional support for a U.S. proposed 30-day ceasefire with Ukraine. He stipulates that any agreement must address the root cause of the conflict and lay the foundation for lasting peace. Putin highlighted the need to develop mechanisms to prevent ceasefire violations. He also demanded guarantees that Ukraine will not use the pause to rearm and continue mobilization. Additionally, Putin thanked U.S. President Donald Trump for his efforts to end the war, indicating he might reach out to discuss the issue. This development is crucial for global business as a ceasefire could ease geopolitical tensions and improve market stability. A reduction in conflict intensity would boost business confidence, improve energy markets, and provide companies with a clearer outlook on global supply chains, especially in Europe and in the energy sector markets. Now, world-renowned designer Donatella Versace will step down as chief creative officer of the Versace brand after nearly 3 decades of influence. This comes amid reports that Prada is moving closer to a deal to purchase Versace from Capri for nearly $1.6 billion. Miu Miu's Dario Vitale is set to take over Donatella's role, while she will shift to a smaller position as chief brand ambassador for Versace. This shift could signal a new era for Versace and the global luxury market, with Prada's potential acquisition redefining the competitive landscape. For the Philippines, a country with a strong luxury market and growing consumer demand, this move could affect local trends, retail strategies, and the future of the fashion industry. And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo news channel. Have a good weekend.